Hello, what is up? My name is Vincent. I'm happy to have you here. This is some interesting news, to say the least. So, brought to us by Fiction Horizon, they say Disney Plus acquires streaming rights to Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, parentheses, rumor. So, I was actually told about this yesterday when I was working at my little anime store, and I hadn't heard of this, but they said it, like sort of like as a fact, and so I wasn't even aware it was a rumor until I just looked this up. But it is interesting that's a rumor. It's a big deal because Disney. They've already sort of experimented with anime by having the Star Wars series, where it was like Star Wars Visions, where they had different anime studios take their perspectives on Star Wars, which ended up in some very unique, cool ways of seeing Star Wars. But it's I don't know. It's a bit weird, I guess, to say the least, to have Disney start partaking in anime. And I don't mean that in the sense, like, obviously Disney sees the money in anime. Like, manga and anime is skyrocketing in popularity. People are really supporting this. They love anime. They love manga. I think one reason why is because of how... I think it's because of the unique perspectives that Japan has and Japanese creators have whenever they write a lot of their manga and anime. And some of that, ends up being sort of tropey, or some of it is things that we might not necessarily enjoy or like. Maybe you do. It just depends. But it just, at the very least, regardless of how much of that you like or dislike, you can't deny that it just feels different. It hits different. So, Disney sort of dipping into that seems a bit problematic because Disney's known for having sort of their MCU, their Marvel films, all kind of feeling samey. It's like you kind of know what to expect from like a superhero movie when it comes to that. Contrast that with something like The Boys or Invincible. It's very different. So obviously there's different ways you can take superhero stuff, but the MCU just feels kind of tried and true, and it's not, the most exciting thing in the world. My personal opinion, just sort of tired of the MCU at this point, but, to each their own. They can keep the MCU. I want them to stay away from anime, but this video isn't exactly what you might think. It's not just going to be me saying, like, oh, it's awful for Disney to be buying the rights to Bleach. I mean, if you read this article, it says that the rumor is that they were in a bidding war between the streaming rights for the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War, and they outbid Crunchyroll. Now, I think it's very apparent that they would be able to outbid Crunchyroll. I mean, the size between Disney Plus and Crunchyroll is probably comparable to Crunchyroll and myself. Like, Disney is massive, and that's part of the problem, is they can just sort of outbid anyone and anything in any avenue they want. It's just a matter of how they want to allocate their resources. Now, don't get me wrong, Crunchyroll is owned by Sony, and Sony's really massive. Like, they're really big, but I feel like it's interesting that they put Crunchyroll here instead of Sony, because even though Crunchyroll is owned by Sony, I imagine that Sony's like, hey, Crunchyroll, like, it's a division underneath them, and they sort of have their own funds based off of like how much money they bring in. So they don't want to sort of overextend what that one company does and start dipping other resources from other companies that Sony owns to sort of fund Crunchyroll. So I sort of feel like that's sort of like why it's set up that way. Also, you can hear my dog off screen over here. Hello, Ham. But yeah, I do like the idea of multiple companies having to bid each other. I think when you have, and I don't even think this is just an objective fact, if you have multiple companies that are competing with one another, it's going to make those companies have to sort of focus more on their updates, their quality of life, their price points, etc. So, like Crunchyroll, if they keep losing anime to Disney, they will have to make their streaming service better. They'll have to make their streaming service have less bugs. They may need to like lower their prices. They may need to do more events where they like have better PR. They might need to do X, Y, and Z to make their service better, so more people support them. Now, with that being said, though, I mean, a lot of entertainment these days is sort of driven by culture and hype, and so if it's on both services, people will sort of jump onto either regardless of how the companies are. You could have like a really shitty company and people for the most part won't care. They'll jump right on. So that's like a whole separate issue. Honestly, it leaves me pretty conflicted in a lot of ways. Because I like the competition, the competitive aspect of it. I don't like Disney buying into anime though. I really want it to sort of remain fresh and have its own take. And also, I'm aware that Disney's not changing Bleach. I get this is for streaming rights. I know that this isn't them like meddling with the story or anything, but all these things come in phases. Disney used to be Mickey Mouse, then it became a bunch of princesses plus Mickey Mouse, then it became X, Y, and Z, then you end up with superheroes, then you end up with Star Wars, then you end up, with anime. So it's a thing that's growing. It's essentially the slippery slope, and I know some people think like, oh, slippery slope, but it's hey, if it happens, it happens. If you're on a freaking slip and slide, then you're on the slip and slide. I don't know what else to tell you. This is just what we've seen with Disney. They've been growing. They've been expanding. They're basically unstoppable. Everyone knows and views them as this giant titan of an industry. So I don't know. I know earlier they had it where Crunchyroll and was buying Right Stuff Anime. And they had already bought Funimation, and they're already owned by Sony. And so some people are claiming it was a vertical monopoly over the anime market and stuff. And they ended up not going through the Right Stuff Anime thing. I'm not sure if that's because of the backlash or what, but that's also why it's important to talk about these things publicly, because it can... A little bit of voices can go a long way. So if there's something that if you believe in, it's important to sort of voice your opinion. Because you don't want, especially if there's a minority opinion, they're pushing everything one way, and you feel the opposite way. It's important to sort of bring that up. Or else because for a creator myself, there may be 9 people that feel a certain way and one person that feels the opposite way. If I only hear from that one person, in my head, I'm just like, well, I guess this is how people feel. I listen to one person, start doing these things. The other people get annoyed. They just drop off. They stop supporting me, etc. And I have no idea why, but it's because I was listening to one person that was vocal. The other people, their traits just don't make them as vocal. That's a whole nother tangent. There's so many avenues in which this can go. But ultimately, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to get this video out there just very quickly since it's breaking news. Just came out. Like I said, I think overall, I don't like the idea of Disney taking over the anime space. I don't like them sort of using Studio Trigger and other anime studios to make Disney content. I want Studio Trigger to keep doing their stuff. I love their original stuff, so I don't need Disney to come in and start making... I don't need Mulan's my favorite Disney film. I don't need them to make a Studio Trigger Mulan. Though if they are going to collaborate and do something, then I guess go ahead and do the freaking Studio Trigger Mulan movie. But it's fine. And also, before I leave this video, I think my least favorite thing of hearing is people complaining I don't want to pay for 2 subscription services. That's such a first world problem. I don't give a shit at this point. That is so dumb. If you end up with just one subscription service, if that's just the one thing, it's gonna suck ass. Anyone that's limited to just one option, it always sucks ass. You ask anyone that pays for their own internet, their internet service provider sucks ass. They have them all sort of regionally marked off where you have to only go with the one person. And they do that for other types of companies too. And anytime you're stuck with just sort of that one company, it sucks ass. I don't care what you're saying. It may be fine at first, but it ends up sucking ass. It goes from, oh, this is okay, this is good, then this sucks worse, and then it sucks ass. That's the trajectory there. I'm not going to tolerate it. I don't care what anyone says there. You guys pushing for that, you suck ass. I'm sorry. This is the only time I've insulted anyone, I think, on a YouTube video, but... I feel very strongly about that one, so you can go off somewhere else if that's how you feel. Otherwise, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Drop into our Discord below if you like anime, if you like games, all that fun stuff. We got all kinds of cool stuff to talk about, so we'd love to see you there. And yeah, help us out in this algorithm. Thank you so much. Take care and stay awesome.
Guess I have no choice. It's time to save the world.